Ezra, today is the 28th of March at 1:40. And this is your granddad talking to you. And what I want to talk to you about is the internet. So, my life was totally different from the world you'll grow up with. For you, I'm sure it will be hard to imagine life before today's technology in 2024 and beyond. So, think about this. What if you had to get through a day without the internet or whatever they're calling it now during your time? What would you what would you do if you had to go on a road trip with your dad, your mom, your grandparents, or by yourself? What would you use? I don't know if they're still using Google Map, but that's what we used in today's date. Using Google Map, we search for all kinds of information. So here's some of the things that changed when I was growing up from the 50s and the 60s, comparing it to now in 2024. Of course, when you see this and understand, we'll be way beyond the internet and the way it is now. So understand that. So starting with music. Back in the day, when you wanted to tape your music or record it, you had to do it from the transistor radio, and that wasn't easy. If you wanted to listen to it, um, you didn't have a CD or whatever they're using now in your day, streaming, who knows. We used to listen to vinyl records, and you needed a record player to listen to the recorded music. It was just a round oval, and it was vinyl, and the needle would spin, and music would come out. That's how we did it. Now it seems like caveman ways of doing things. To socialize when you left your house, to see the movies, or even make a phone call, you had to communicate face to face back in my day. There was no picking up the phone or whatever you're doing now. Uh, you just had to go face to face. If you wanted to see a movie, you had to go to the theaters, or as we called it, the movies. Long before anybody had a phone, they were attached. The phones we had were attached to the wall, and the receiver was connected by a cord, if you can imagine that. There was no FaceTime or Amazon shopping. Social media posts were posted on a wall, things like a bulletin board. I'm not sure you know what a bulletin board is, but that's how we did it. To buy something, we didn't go to Amazon. You had to go to the dime store, and that's where the store existed when you could find lots of stuff at low prices. Not anymore. Did I mention things called books? There were no computers during my days. I used a typewriter as my computer. Before iCloud storage, all of your documents had to be typed. So there was no storage. And if you made an error, you had to go back and erase it with an eraser. Um, Keeping those documents probably only last maybe 10 years because it all faded out after a while. In 2024, we have Google searches. That's what we're doing now. In the day, during my day, we had encyclopedias in the library. I don't know if libraries will be around when you grow up. You had to look up information in encyclopedias, and looking sometimes took up a lot of time and a lot of work. So when you did schoolwork, it took you a long time to, let's say, just write a paper. So guess you can say that looking someone up in the phone book was the original Google. Without Google, we used paper maps or asked someone to get directions to where we wanted to go. There were no cell phones. We used a phone attached to the wall or pay phones. You put a nickel in, you dial the number, and you get the person on the other end, maybe. Believe it or not, the speaker and the mic were attached to the phone. You'll have to look this up because it's kind of an odd looking instrument. Um, you will probably never see anything like that in your day. Before digital and phone cameras, you'd have to wait a week for the film to be developed, and you printed it out on paper. You took a picture with a camera and you send it to the store, maybe Walmart. They develop it, and it took at least a week. After about 5, 6 years, all the pictures start fading. Now you've got digital or something beyond that. Before email or texting, everyone wrote letters. Can you imagine you trying to write a letter nowadays? People just didn't do that. People used to send letters, not emails. Um, Even if you're looking for movies, what time they are, what kind of movies they are, titles and that sort of thing, you had to look in the newspaper. I'm not sure you know what a newspaper is. I'm sure everything will be in the computer. You know what? With the what was the original email? In my opinion, fax machines. You'll have to look that up because I'm sure during your time you'll never see one. In fact, in 2024, within the last 3, 4 years, I've not seen a fax machine. Watching TV, I don't even know if you have TV now. They probably call it something else. I don't know if there's a cable guy. I don't know if there's cable. I don't know if there's satellite. Who knows? But during my time, all the shows were in black and white. They had an antenna on the top, and you'd have to turn the antenna to get a good picture. And we called them rabbit ears because they looked like this. They were just in the air, little thin metal pieces. And sometimes you wrap aluminum foil around it because you get better reception with aluminum foil. You had to watch shows that was scheduled. There was no channel searching. There was one channel. When I grew up, there was channel KDKA in Pittsburgh, and it was actually the first TV production in the U.S. So in Pittsburgh, we got it early. Um, Sometimes you'd have to wait a week or two before you'd get the next episode. So if you were looking at programs that had episodes, you would look at one episode and then you have to wait a week. You couldn't stream it. You couldn't go to Hulu or whatever they're watching during your time. You couldn't go to any kind of program like that that would show movies and you could just go straight through them with no commercials and watch the whole series. So they may have a series that lasts for a year back in my day on the TV that would be just matters of hours or maybe a day for you to watch the whole production. So things have changed from my time to 2024, but I imagine in your time, all of this will seem old, antiquated, and out of date. So, from your granddad, that's how it was.